Hi, Sammy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm glad that you came back and we're ready to start session two. How are you feeling about our session today?
Um, I'm I'm excited to start, working on things and like working on my mood. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Awesome. So, talking about mood, let's go ahead and do our mood check. So, how have you felt over the past week?
Um, kind of the same things that we talked about last week, just maybe like more, but like anxious about work and like I'm not good enough to be there, and then it's like frustrating because it's making work hard and like not fun to go to.
Okay, so it definitely sounds like you're dealing with a little more anxiety than you were last week. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, any other feelings or moods that you experienced throughout the week?
Um, those were the main ones.
Okay. So let's go ahead and set the agenda. So, what problems would you like to find solutions for in today's session?
Just like things that have bothered me this
Yeah.
week. Okay. I think probably my coworkers. It's just been really like awkward at work, and then my boss like had a meeting with me and he kind of got on to me about some things. So
Okay, so let's go back to your coworkers real quick. You said it's been awkward, um, between each other. So what happened, if you don't mind me asking?
yeah, I just feel like a lot of like the things that they're doing, like, when I walk into a room or something, like I can just tell that everyone kind of like changes their mood or like what they're talking about. So I feel like they're talking about me, and it just makes being at work more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it definitely sounds like you're having a hard time getting along with your coworkers and it's affecting the way you think about yourself and your work. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then tell me more about feeling uneasy with your boss and what happened there.
Yeah, so he called me into his office, and he got on to me about being late and about not turning in like paperwork or like my reports fast enough. And
Okay.
then I feel like that kind of like my other coworkers like knew that I was getting in trouble, so I feel like it just like proved to them that I'm not good at my job.
Okay. Definitely sounds like you're struggling with feelings of inadequacy this week, and how you think your coworkers are thinking about you. Um, so, I mean, first of all, do you think those feelings are true?
Um
Like, is that how you're feeling, or are you feeling something else?
no, yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
Okay. Um, so tell me, did anything else happen this week that you want to tell me about, or you think I should know?
Um yeah, I was late to work twice, and that caused, I guess, a little bit of issues.
Yeah, it definitely probably made you affected how you feel too, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, did anything positive happen to you this week?
Um, Actually, yeah. There was a female detective that I ran into, and she complimented me like in front of my other coworkers and was saying that I was doing a good job.
That's awesome. That's great. And now you have like another friendly face around the office, That's great. I'm happy to hear that. So let's go over your homework last week. So you were supposed to identify some of your automatic thoughts and feelings. How did that go?
I did it a couple of times at the beginning of the week, but then I kind of forgot, like, as the week went on.
Okay, so it was just kind of hard to stick with it and remember to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we should identify some ways for you to remember to do your homework. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Okay, so what do you think you could do to start remembering to do your homework, even if it's just a couple times a week?
I guess I could like set a reminder on my phone a couple times a week, and then also like have time in my schedule to do it.
That's a good idea. So maybe prioritizing some time to do it, and then you can set reminders on your phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll write that down as a way for you to remember to do that. So let's kind of prioritize our agenda so we have enough time. What problem would you like to focus on and solve today?
I think the one that is bothering me the most is like my coworkers.
Okay. So we'll go over your feelings and thoughts that come with working with your coworkers, and then so you want to push your feelings about your boss and being late to next week?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay. So I'll write that down for next week. All right, so let's start talking about what happened with your coworkers. So you feel that, it sounds like you feel that when you walk into a room that everything kind of shifts and you don't feel kind of accepted by them. Is that true?
Yeah, I don't feel accepted, and then I feel like they're all talking about me.
Okay. And how does that affect your work?
It just makes me upset, and I start like thinking about like what they're probably thinking, and it makes me feel like bad about myself and my work, and it's distracting. Like it's hard to go back to work after that.
Okay. Well, I know your work is very important to you. So could we identify some ways that would calm your stress and help you go back to work faster?
Yeah, sure, that would be good.
Okay, so what is one way you think like one strategy that would help calm you down?
I guess like getting away from the situation.
Okay, so maybe taking a short walk outside. Would that be a good idea?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll write that down. So maybe step one will be to walk away. And then what about, is there anyone who you could talk to about your feelings?
Yeah, I have a friend that I can talk to sometimes.
Okay, so that'll be step two, or an alternative option is you can walk away and you can talk to your friend about how you're feeling or what you're going through. Okay, so do those two steps sound good to you?
Yeah, they sound good.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the automatic thoughts you felt in that situation. So tell me about because it sounded like you were feeling inadequate and unaccepted. Tell me a little bit more in your words.
Yeah, so I definitely felt inadequate and like like I wasn't good at my job, or like maybe I shouldn't even be there.
Okay. All right. So do you think those thoughts are 100% true, somewhat true, or not true at all?
I mean, I don't really know. I mean, that's what everyone else is thinking, so.
Okay. So why don't we kind of come up with some evidence for whether it is true or it's not true? So what would be a point of evidence for it being true, for you being inadequate at your job?
Well, I got in trouble with my boss for being late and like not doing my reports fast enough.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I guess that's it.
How about any evidence for you being adequate and good at your job?
I mean, I really care about the community and helping people, and I've always wanted to do this job, and I did really good in my training. Yeah.
How about I remember you saying some nights you stay late to make sure your work is done.
Yeah, I do.
That's good. And then I remember you also saying that sometimes you go the extra mile with your citizens as well. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that there's more evidence for you being adequate and good at your job rather than evidence of you being inadequate. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I guess when we like break it all down, yeah.
Okay, good. So I'll ask again. So your feelings of feeling inadequate at your job, do you think that's 100% true, somewhat true, or not true?
I mean, I guess there are times when like I mess up, but so do other people, and
yeah,
it's normal. So I guess it's not true.
Good. Yeah. I'm really glad to hear that. You know, just like the saying says, everyone's human, and we all have those days that we make mistakes, but it doesn't mean we're necessarily not good at our jobs, right?
Right.
So let's kind of come up with a homework assignment together that one would be, you know, realistic for you to do and could help, you know, shift those thoughts. So I was kind of thinking that we could kind of write about certain situations that make you feel anxious, and then at the same time write down the automatic thoughts and feelings that you had during those situations. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
That sounds good. And you know, so if you do 3 situations, that doesn't mean you need to do it every day, and it may be a little easier for you to do with your schedule.
Yeah, that makes sense. So just like when I start to, or when I have like a situation like the one with my boss or with my coworkers, then I can just write about it like when they happen.
Yeah, and you can write about them when they happen, or maybe when you go home and you have the time, you know, whatever is really realistic for you to be able to do it, and really kind of think about it and reflect on those experiences, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so let's kind of talk about our session and do a little summary of what we've done today. So we did our mood check, and it sounded like you had been a little bit more anxious this week than you usually were last week. And you were really dealing with some feelings of inadequacy and feeling sad about it. Was that true?
Yes.
Okay. So then you were telling me about, you know, feeling awkward with your coworkers and thinking that they didn't think you were good at your job. And then you also told me about your boss and an encounter you had with him and being yelled at, and that was difficult for you. It sounded like you definitely had a hard week, and you told me you were late twice. But you also had some really great things, like when the female detective came to you and said that you have doing really good at your job and, you know, keep the great work up. So that was really good. And we went over your homework, and you were kind of struggling to get it done. So hopefully with this homework assignment not being as intensive, you'll be able to do more work. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So then we kind of prioritized that we were just going to talk about your feelings of interacting with your coworkers and how your feelings of inadequacy were affecting your work. And you tell me the 2 steps that we kind of came up with to problem solve and make yourself feel better in those situations.
To like walk away, to get out of the situation so I can like kind of take a break from it, and then also to talk to someone.
Great. So we'll kind of keep those, whether, you know, we need to write it down on a Post-it note or, you know, keep it as a mental note when we start to feel really anxious and upset, to kind of walk away, get some fresh air, and talk with a friend. So let's kind of follow up on your homework. So can you explain to me what your homework assignment is for the next week?
To just when I have the situations where I start having like the negative thoughts and feeling anxious, to write down what was happening in the situation and then write what my automatic thoughts were and then bring it back to you.
Yeah, that's perfect. So, you know, your automatic thoughts and your feelings. And remember, you only have to do 3. So that way, you know, you're not having to do it every day, and you can spend more time on those 3 situations. And also, you know, while you're doing that, if you feel up to it, after you identify those automatic thoughts, kind of think about how those thoughts influence your behavior, and how if you change those thoughts to something more positive, such as when you said, you know, it's okay to make mistakes, how that could change your behavior for the better. Okay?
Okay, that makes sense.
All right. So is there anything else that you want to talk about in this session? Anything that made you uncomfortable or upset that you would like me to know about?
No.
Okay. Again, if there's anything that comes up afterwards, if you want to, you know, call me or email me, and I'll get back to you. And that way you can have some time to kind of reflect on our session today, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, then we've had a good session today, and I'll talk to you next week, okay?
All right, thanks.
No problem. Bye, Sammy.
Bye.